All right. Hello, everyone. We are so excited to welcome you to demos of what is going to be very soon the new experience for the human array. And so I'm excited to introduce you to Evelyn. Most of you have probably met her at this point. Um, but she is going to carve out time every week to do demos of what we are building so you can really experience in real time how we are evolving the human array. We know there's been a lot of moving pieces, and this is our chance to share with you not only the vision, but also what's really happening and what's coming soon for you. So I'm excited to kick it over to Evelyn to share today and get us started.
Hello, I'm Evelyn. So I'm tech lead at the Human Array. And what I'm going to be doing is we are building out the vision of the Holistic Health Hub. And there are several elements to it. And rather than just trying to dream it up, I decided to spin one up. So I want to jump straight in with the very raw, very non-prettified, non like this is not the final version. This is just the idea in a actionable way. So if you have any questions, just let us know in the chat. Or if you're watching this later, like leave us a comment. There's also a feedback section. So there's an entire section in Mighty Networks. It's called Building the Holistic Health Hub. In there, you'll find where you can register for the live events. I'll have every Thursday, normally at like 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. European Time. Uh, these live demos and Q&A sessions for you to jump in. There will also be the replays for those available. And there's like an unstructured area called feedback. It's just a chat log. So anytime you have an idea or something comes up that you love, you hate, you have an idea, you have a question, just like throw it in there. And I will go through and I will look at those and we'll either come back to it in some form or another. We're building it together and we're seeing where we go. That being said, any questions, you can always reach out to me as well. So here is the demo. So welcome to Human Array's Holistic Health Hub. So on the first page, we are going to have a free and open page. This is something we've been trying to generate on the Mighty Network experience. You may have seen that we now have this feed experience where not only content that is created by the Human Array community, such as the Daily Dose, but also you as the practitioners are also going to be on display. Consider this like our own version of an Instagram feed or something like that, that's free and open to the public. We also want to be able to eventually pull in when workshops are happening and those kind of things into the feed as well. But as a first pass at this, this is what a first homepage could look like. We have the Daily Dose. And then, of course, you could click in, you could see what you can read the articles just as you would expect a website to work. Then, so you have the Daily Dose. Then here it was highlighting the mountain methodology. The AI really liked the mountain methodology, so it already put it in here front and center. Then featured catalysts. So catalysts who have already upgraded to sort of, I forget what they're called, Carrie. I forget what the plan is called, but
Yeah, the Be Found profile. Yes.
yes, yes. So if you have a Be Found profile, then you would have something where you would also have your own private homepage. On your homepage would be more information about yourself, your free your freebies. So any downloads and things like that, we want to be able to host here. Links to your workshops, links to your programs. I think the other example version has, yeah, so offerings, you can link directly there, download your free resources, read your content, all those sort of things, book a call. So these would be your Catalyst profile pages that you can link to, and then just more feeding of content. So this is the first pass, is that we have some sort of directory and content feed that's always open and available to the public. This makes you searchable. This makes you findable. There's no barriers for entry, and there's no login required. Now, if you're a Catalyst, what we want you to be doing is you will have, of course, I don't Do I remember the password? Please remember the password. Of course I don't.
Let me see if I
Shen Shenanigans.
can.
Yay for live demos. Just let me in. Welcome back. We have found the password and we will try this again. Okay, so here we were on the Holistic Health Hub. This is the free for all view. As a catalyst, what we want to do is we want to create some sort of dashboard for you. And this is just a random, the AI decided what it was going to pull into the dashboard, but to give you a feel of like how much, to get an overview of all the content you've created. Is it there? You want to be able to go in, edit your content, change which stage of the mountain it's in, what type of content. Is it featured? Is it pinned? Do you want to hide it? Because the objective, and one of the objectives we want to create in the Holistic Health Hub is that it is a collection of all of your content. So this wants to be the home of everything you create. So whether it's a blog post, whether it's a LinkedIn post, whether it's an Instagram post, all of those pieces are in an archive for you so that you're creating this interconnected web of everything that is yours and of your mind. So instead of just sending it out into the abyss of social media and having it lost, it all lives together and can be served up multiple times. And I want to, as we design the Catalyst portal and dashboards, that's a big part of what I want to do is make sure that you can access your content, understand it, and dive into it more. I would love to know what you're thinking about this. So be sure if you're watching this in the replay that you come back and you tell us what you'd love to see, how you'd like to access it. We would also want to show you not only how many people are viewing your content on the site, but also what specific seekers, so people who have been tied to your content or who are looking at your stuff, it's visible so that you can reach out and you can make connections as well. You will also be able to update all your profile areas and things like that. Excuse me. So that is the mission and the dream of the Catalyst portal, that this is your place where you can always create your content. Eventually, I want to extend out in the roadmap to make it so that you can, from here, creating your content, then break it down and then send it to all your social media places directly from here. You don't have to go every place else. That's already built into your experience as a catalyst within the human array. So moving from there, another core person in the human array is the seeker. So someone who is on the journey of healing. What the seeker is going to see is they're going to have their own private feed page. And here at our first pass, we just have like, where are you on your journey? Here's your collection of wisdom that's for right now. These are different programs that you maybe are working through. You'll be able to chat with your well-being concierge directly within the page. We're also thinking that this would be a great place to include notes or other places for them to work and journal out their process. We really want to think about this as sort of like your health data as a seeker. And how can this be private to you and you, but you can always export it, take it with you. You can import other things that could be important. How can you make it so that it's easy to share just the pieces you need with the catalyst or practitioner you are working with at the time, and yet have a whole collection of your own health journey data? And this is a big part of the vision that I'm looking at also when building all of this up. So this is sort of the major pieces of the tool. We have this free access catalog directory page. Then we have the dashboard for the Catalyst where they're looking at their content, they're dealing and managing their programs, their free resources, any content, they're working with their seekers directly and whatever kind of clients, and it's all handled within and visible in their dashboard, and they can work directly with it. across there. And then there's the seeker profile, which is a sort of low overwhelm, guided step-by-step journey that meets you where you are, delivers the content what you need, and allows you to contact and reach out directly with both your well-being concierge and probably your catalyst once we figure out how that all goes together. Now, at this point, I'm sure you're jumping in and saying, but what about the Mighty Network? I've put all these things in the Mighty Network. How does this tie in? Wonderful question. Thank you for asking. So, we're going to start with answering by saying right now, Mighty Network is going to hold the community aspects and any kind of programs, workshops, live events for now. We're going to be holding static media, but we're going to embed Mighty Network and link it within the Holistic Health Hub. The mechanical aspects of that are still to be worked out as we're developing, to be perfectly honest, but this is the vision. And that we have the ambition that as we grow and mature the software, we will be able to bring in live events, your programs, maybe even courses, and hold all of that in-house. Because for me, I am kind of a privacy nerd. And by kind of, I mean I'm a lot of a privacy nerd. So for me, it's very important to know where's your data, who's looking at it, who has access to it, what servers it's living on, and making sure that you're not locked into proprietary software or, yeah, that kind of stuff. So when you come in as a catalyst and you start creating content within um, the Holistic Health Hub and in the Human Array, I want to make it very easy for it. Anytime you say, you know what, I'm done with this, I want out, you can always step out. You can export all your content in a way that's not just a database table that's unusable, but also is your files as readable markdown, maybe as PDFs. These are things we want to explore with you on how would that look like? How do you want your content to be accessible? Because we really want to make it easy for you, this to be a trusted place where you know that your knowledge is being honored and supported and being part of the bigger conversation, but you're not obliged to stay or do anything else. We are simply here to support your journey, add it to the collective of the seeker's well-being journey. And that is our objective. And I see Carrie nodding along, so I think this fits the vision.
It does, right? I think our whole goal is, you said it, is to be trusted. And that's not just from a seeker perspective, but from a practitioner and a catalyst perspective, that we're the place you want to be. And if it's not the right fit for you now or in the future or whatever that looks like we trust that evolution and that flow. And so for us, that trust comes in doing things by the right value system. And so that's what we believe in. And so that's what we're going to hold, both from a seeker perspective as well as a catalyst perspective, and how we're building the infrastructure and how we support you. So it's
Yeah.
very important to us. Yeah.
And I think that's a really good tie-in on talking about the infrastructure, where what you see here is like a very fast AI spin up of what we said of like, hey, this is what we're thinking. This is the page layouts. Like, let's spin it up and see what it can do, so that instead of just talking in our head, we have an actual tool that we can walk you through. We can click on it. We can show you what we're thinking. But I don't want to build using only AI. The process of building software using AI is called vibe coding, in case you are unaware of the term. I don't want to, what you saw, the purple example, is a purely vibe coded example of what the Holistic Health Hub can look like. I don't want to build that because when you do that, like, it uses a lot of resources, it creates a lot of security holes. There's a lot of things that you don't know what it's building. And I want more control so that we understand, as I said, I'm a security and data nerd. So, like, where's it going? What's going on in the security? How is it created? Are we okay that, like, your data is safe and secure and comfortable? Because we're working in a sensitive area. We're working with health. We're working with health. We're working with mental health. We're working with being vulnerable and open. We're working with your business. We're working with finances. Like, it's a gamut of spaces that really deserves the kind of respect and attention that we want to put in to the initial design. So, any questions at this point? Okay. You know where to find me when questions come up. What I want to show you, so what we did is we kind of showed you the high level big picture and what we're kind of thinking it's going to become. Well, and then I told you that what we want to build is not just vibe coding, but we want to build really take our time and build the backend architecture correctly, build the code correctly. And we've already started that. So that's the second part of this presentation is showing you what the actual first version of the Holistic Health Hub looks like in its current stage. This is actually the piece that we will be deploying in early November. Let me just switch it up over here. Here we are. And for those of you with sharp eyes, you'll notice that I'm still in Lovable here, but that's because we're just doing the design in Lovable. I'm actually hard coding it elsewhere. And right now, I could show you that version, but it's not very pretty yet. I actually don't even have it open, so I'd have to like boot some servers because it's only running locally. But we do have the initial first databases connected. We connected it to the cards. But so, anyways, I'm geeking out. I apologize. But I apologize, but I don't apologize because this is why I'm here because I'm a geek. So,
Yeah.
so the human array, where we are starting with is the directory and the daily dose. So what we're doing is we're making a directory of cards. And what you already see is that we have our cards visible. The people who you're seeing here are people who have already filled out to be part of the directory. We have a new form in development. It should be available by the end of this week. We'll be sure to put it in Mighty Network and also include it in the Catalyst email for next week. But what you'll see is that we have the cards available, you have your photos, and then when you click in, you now have a more detailed page with your story, your referrals, reviews, programs, all these things are slowly building in here. The way that it works is you could sort of think about your data as like cards. And when you fill in the form, like each piece of your data is going into like a module. And we can pull those in and like move them around very easily to create different pages or different experiences for what you need and to meet where you are. So rather than creating these sort of rigid static experiences, we're building a fully dynamic experience that's built off of data modules. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, good. So when you fill out your form, now instead of having someone come in and like hard code it into the page, we're taking these elements and putting it into the directory, which you will then be able to access from your dashboard and change over time. And one of the things that this architecture of building a website that also is a database, and as you create your content within this database, we are also going to take into special attention, not because if you're not aware, search engine optimization and Google search is basically dead. Organic Google search is dead. People are searching using Claude, ChatGPT, these kind of tools. Well, how do you get your content to be served up to these tools? Well, they require a certain kind of architecture in the way that your website's built and your content is shown to them. They can read it and bring it forward, but it's even better if they have their own kind of sections within your database tied to your content that are specifically written for the AI so that the AI knows what problem are you solving? What's the emotional state of the user that they're working in? And those sort of things. And one of the things that we want to bring to this conversation is how can we build local AI models that are only looking at our data? You're not looking at the bigger, like all of the mass. How can we build models that automatically look at your content and then spin up the AI search engine elements and just put them in the table? They're elements that you may not even need in any way, but what we're doing is we're making it so that you show up as a primary source of authenticity in the AI. And I think because we've got so many catalysts on board and everybody's creating, the human array will come up in the AI search as a site that's constantly being updated. Because for AI, they're looking for the most relevant, most used, most up-to-date information. So a site that's constantly seeing new content, new updates, commentary, feedback is only going to raise it to the surface. This is why places like Reddit are major sources of truth for an AI when looking at information. What would it look like if the Human Array and the Holistic Health Hub became one of the core sources of truth for holistic health, and that your content got to be a big part of that as part of the ecosystem of the knowledge that we're collecting? I love it. Like, this is the dream. This is what we're building. And because we have decided that we are not going to try and shoehorn this vision into another platform, but build it from scratch, we get to design these tools and we get to make the robots dance for us instead of the other way around. And that is the vision that we are very excited about to bring to the table.
How do I make it do the thing? It never does it when I want. Hey, look at you.
Yay! This is the vision. So I got really warm because I got really excited about the vision and the technology. So,
It's amazing.
thank you for coming to the first look of the demo. For those of you who couldn't make it live, hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
We're going to do this every week. We're going to show you the current status. We want you to come in, ask questions. We're going to do a specific roadmap day on a Wednesday, I think the third week in October. I don't know the date off the top of my head, where we're going to look at like each of the pieces of the roadmap. Like, what are we building for the catalyst? What are we building for the seekers? What are we thinking for like HIPAA compliance and LLM systems and all of the good like bits and bobs. We're also going to try and make a visible public roadmap sooner rather than later. But for right now, anything that you're thinking, feel free to throw it in the feedback chat as it's coming up. And we look forward to sharing more with you soon.
Yay. Amazing. Thank you, Evelyn, for taking us through this. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.